Hi, friends. You just pulled us up here. Okay, there we are. All right. Looks like we are live, and I am seeing some friends. Hello, Daniel. Hello, Linda. I hope that you guys are having a great week so far. Let me turn the volume down on my phone so we don't get any weird echoing. All right. Hello, Nancy. Thanks for joining us today. I'm glad you guys are here. I'm just going to give it a couple more minutes just to let some more people join in real quick. And then we'll just go over some things for a minute, and then we will get going on our card for today. I'm going to be doing a little bit of rainbow ink blending today. I thought that a rainbow kind of sounded like a fun way to start out the year. Yes, Glenda, you do see inks. You see lots of inks back here. I pulled out a lot for this one. So I'm excited to share today's card with you. I think it's going to be really fun to put together. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. Hello, Debbie. Happy New Year, Glenda. Okay, so it looks like people have found us. Hello, Bronwyn from Australia. I hope I said that correctly. Thanks for joining me today. And Cheryl, first time viewing. Thanks for joining us. Lori, yes, thank you. I did actually just get my hair done yesterday. So first time since last January, so it's been a year. It was time. It was time. I needed it. But thank you very much. So thank you. Oh, hello, Tracy. Thanks for joining us. And Nasheen, not sure if I said that right. And hi, Jeff. Look at you. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Hello, Leanna from Utah. Okay. All right, so we got quite a few people on. So we are going to move on to logistics and then get going on with our card. Hello, Pauline. Thanks for joining me today. Okay, up first, be sure to leave comments and interact with us. If I don't happen to, I try to watch the comments as much as I can, but if I miss something like a question, Heather is typically pretty good about grabbing those and answering them as well. Lost my train of thought there. So as I mentioned, Heather is moderating today, so she's my partner in the sky. And then, so leave lots of comments, and there's a share button. If you go right underneath the video, there's a little share button. So you can share to Facebook with a friend, in a group if they allow it. And then just let us know in the comments that you did share it somewhere, and that acts as an extra entry. And then towards the end of our live time here together today, Heather will pick a winner to win a $15 gift card code. So definitely be sure to interact with us as much as you can. Hi, Sarah. Thanks for joining me. Your first time here. Welcome. We're happy. It seems like we have a few first timers joining us. So welcome. I hope you guys enjoy it. We just craft live and chat and just have some fun for this hour. Okay, so let's go over some live logistics for the next couple of weeks. This week, of course, I'm here today, and then Heather will be on Facebook Live on Thursday. So then next week, so I will be live on YouTube next week on Tuesday, but we have an online virtual class that we're teaching for a distributor. So we won't be available on Thursday on Facebook Live. And then vice versa, the week after that, we have another virtual event we have to teach on that Tuesday. So I will not be on YouTube Live 2 Tuesdays from now, but Heather will have her normal Facebook Live. And of course, we will continue to send out the reminder emails and put the swipe up feature in our Instagram stories to help keep you aware of when all of our lives are going on. Okay, so enough logistics. Let's get this camera flipped around and let's start ink blending. Okay, so there we have it. I want to make sure I turn that off. Okay, let's bring my camera over here. I'm gonna let my phone get caught up to make sure that everything looks good on my phone. Okay, yep, we're looking good. Okay, so today we are going to use this great mirrored triangles stencil. We're going to do some fun rainbow ink blending with it. And I'm going to show you, I've done a couple of samples to show you a couple of different ways that you can use this. And then we're going to, and then we are going to be doing something a little bit different from the samples here that I've created. Pauline, we are waiting for Zilka to get our newest scrapbooking collections. And then she will resume her Wednesday Facebook Live videos. Okay, so this is a version, oh, let's get that out of there. So this is basically what the background looks like when you use it the way we have shown, the example we have shown on the back of the packaging. Very fun. I love how it turns out in the rainbow colors. Now, this is a way that you can create it when you just flip the triangles a little differently and you don't fill them in completely. So we are going to do a take on this one a little bit, but we're going to fill in the whole circle. So let's go ahead and start getting ready. So I have just a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch block of white cardstock. Let me make sure that's nice and framed up for you guys to be able to see. Hello, Lana, how are you? I see that you've joined in. Okay, so the great thing, of course, about our newer stencils is they have these great grid lines to help you line your cardstock panel on. So I like to do it like this and then really line it up. There's lots of different ways you can get them lined up, but I like to add a little bit of tape and then arrange so then I can tape it right down in place. Okay, so let's smooth that out. And then on this stencil, I like to put a little bit of tape just on the sides as well to hold it down. Yes, Lori, this is, this is definitely a very standard stencil. Sorry, I'm throwing things around here. This is a very standard stencil, but just by flipping it around, we get so many great ways of creating with it. So I'm excited to share this. We have a lot of ink blending to do today, friends. So we might be chatting a bit while I ink blend, but it's going to be fun. Okay, so we are going to start out with the darkest tones first. So we are going to, I'm going to start out here with Raspberry Bliss. Now I am going to use a little bit of Post-it tape to mask off the bottom level because I don't want to get the pink down into that next line of triangles. So we're just going to take this. I've got to find something to wipe this off with when all is said is done. Okay, nope, you guys have not missed much if you're just joining in. We're just getting started. I've taped my panel down and I have our mirrored triangles stencil on it, and I'm just about to start ink blending. Okay, so we're starting with the darkest tones first. This is Raspberry Bliss. It is the darkest in our pinks. Yes, and Heather, I totally get it. I'm using a lot of inks today, so feel free to just check out that link that has all of our ink colors shown on it. Okay, so we have our Raspberry Bliss on here. I need to get a little sheet so I can wipe that off. So then I'm just gonna wipe the stencil down, and I'm gonna move my Post-it tape down. And I don't have 2 pieces of Post-it tape here because I don't mind if the next color bleeds a little bit up into that first set of triangles. So that doesn't bother me too much. Now, if it does you, I would go ahead and just grab another piece of Post-it tape and also mask off that top row of triangles. So the next color I'm using is Candy Apple. It's one of our darker shades of red. And I'm just going to do the same thing as I did before. I'm just gonna ink blend it. It's a little lighter at first, but I am gonna get a little heavier handed here so it looks nice and red. And as you can see, it does kind of bleed up into the bottom part of the pink triangle, but not a big deal to me. Oh, Lana, I'm glad that your ink squares arrived. I think the best way to store your cubes are just the same as like a full-size ink pad. You want to store them flat on their back so that they're sitting just straight up. Okay, so we've got the red, and we are going to move on to Clementine. Oh, I think people are asking about my blending brushes. Yes, these are Tailored Expressions blending brushes. And you'll see me, I'll grab a couple of life-changing brushes here in a minute too, because I have a couple of colors I'm using that I have exclusive ink blending brushes for. So, but right now I'm using Tailored Expressions. Oh, Glenda, that's so sweet. I love that she is watching with you. Okay, so we've got the Clementine Orange layer done here. And we are just moving right along. And we are going to use Sweet Mustard for the darker. It's not our darkest shade of yellow, but I wasn't really wanting to go up to Marigold. That felt a little bit too dark. So I started the yellows at Sweet Mustard. And I agree, Lana. I kind of like when a little bit of the ink seeps up. I didn't want it to really seep down, but I don't mind if it seeps up a little bit. Okay, we're almost done with this first layer, and it's looking really fun so far. Yes, and this is a totally a stencil and an ink blending project you could do with your ink cubes 100%. So I, of course, am using the full-size ones just because that's what's here on my desk, but you could absolutely do this same technique and coloring with your ink cubes. They're all the same exact colors. Okay, so that was Key Lime. And we're gonna do this final first layer with Tidal Pond. Okay. And I want this one to be pretty bold, so we're gonna be a little heavy-handed with this one. Yes, Lori, I'm glad that you mentioned that. It definitely makes doing this kind of ombre shaded coloring so much easier because all of our color families have the 4 different shades of ink to make the layering or the ink blending together super seamless and super easy to figure out. Oh, Jeff, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so let's reveal this first layer, which I mean, kind of immediately already looks pretty fantastic when you just do the one layer, but we are going to just keep doing more. But now, since I am going to flip this around a couple of times, I'm gonna clean it down. So as I've mentioned in the past, I just put a few spritzes of rubbing alcohol on it, and then I just give it a good wipe down with a dry cloth. This is just a dry microfiber cloth. Is there any chance that my middle name is Laura? It's not, but I could change to that, because then my name would be all L's. Okay, so the way that this stencil is, the way that we have marketed it is the next one you would do is you would flip it this way, but I'm actually not going to do it that way. So I actually need to take the tape off just now that I'm thinking about that. And then I'm actually going to flip it this way. So this time you might not be able to use those guides as much, but that's okay because I have that really nice ink blended edge there on the left that I can, or excuse me, these ones I'm using, the ones on the top, that I can use as my guide. This is just a glass mat. I think I saw somebody ask me about that, Deborah. This is just a glass mat that I use on my desk. This one happens to be from We Are Memory Keepers, but there's a lot of different brands and options available out there. And that's what I use to blot off all of my inks when I'm blotting off my brushes and all of that fun stuff. Okay, so up next, we are going to do the next shade of each color. And I'm going to get a new piece of Post-it tape so that I don't, that one was pretty beat up after using it on that first stencil. Okay, so next we are going to move on to Sparkling Rose. Now I do often just rub my brush down to get any excess ink off of it. Remember, my towel is not wet at all. It is dry, so that helps. It makes it so you can still use the brush and just keep going on. So I'm using, sorry about that, Sparkling Rose for the next selection. And I'm going to be fairly heavy-handed with it. Yes, I'm being a little rebel. Like, I think it's really fun to just find all of the different ways that you can use these products. I feel like Pinkfresh Studio products are really versatile in that, and that you can definitely find lots of different ways to use them. Oh, Pauline, that's great. I just dumped some in this, some rubbing alcohol in that spray bottle that I think I got it on Amazon or something like that. But that's awesome that you found one already ready to go. Hi, Carrie from Texas. Thanks for joining us. And I feel like Bruce Gordon, I feel like maybe your name is Annette, but I'm not completely sure on that. So, okay, so Sparkling Rose is done. So I am going to move on to Passion Fruit for the next one. Daniel, craft hour is not this week. It is the next Saturday after that. Okay. Yeah, Heather kind of has a little bit of a boring job today because mostly I'm just, right now anyway, I'm mostly just ink blending all the colors. Oh goodness. Sorry about that, guys. I'm not really sure what happened there. Give me just a minute here so my camera doesn't completely fall over. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. All right, crisis averted. Let's get back to ink blending. Okay. We are on to Passion Fruit. And I'm still going to be fairly heavy-handed because we have one more lighter layer that we are going to add to this one. Someone asked, I think somebody asked if rubbing alcohol is safe to use on clear stamps. I wouldn't use it on clear stamps very often. I have used it in the past sometimes to get a little bit of excessive black ink off, but then I would condition it like right after with a little bit of embossing ink. But I probably wouldn't use rubbing alcohol on my clear stamps. I have a stamp cleaner, and if you YouTube like DIY stamp cleaner, you can find one, and that works really well. And that's actually what I have in my other bottle here. So hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, I know, Lori, right? We're getting a little wild, a little wily over here in the craft room. I'm not really sure what caused that to happen, but it's fine. We made it. We worked through it. Okay, so up next is apricot. And this one is pretty bold to begin with, so it's going to ink blend in here a bit quicker than the other colors did. Okay. Oh, I feel like I saw, oh, hi Dee. Look, thanks for joining me today. I'm glad you popped in. How about, did everybody see Dee's first card as a blog design team member? I think it posted to our blog yesterday, and it was amazing. Okay, so we are on to Sunshine. Definitely check that out if you haven't yet. It's on our blog at Pinkfresh Studio. It's also on our Instagram account. It is fantastic. So just a little PSA for you there. Okay, so we're gonna blend in Sunshine. It also blends real quick. Just trucking along here, aren't we? Crazy, wild camera falling over and everything. Okay, up next we are on to Grassy Knoll. Ooh, I guess I should move the tape down, huh? Getting a little ahead of myself. I'm gonna go ahead and flip this. Okay. Little Grassy Knoll in here. Get this one a little more heavy-handed in some areas. Oh, we're so excited to have you, Dee. You're a wonderful addition to our team. Okay. Okay, so Grassy Knoll is finished. We are almost done with the second layer of this stencil. I'm gonna just wipe it down a little bit. And then we'll do the third, and it's gonna be just magical. Oh, thank you, Nancy. I appreciate that. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I kind of had hoped that just watching a bunch of ink blending wouldn't be too boring. But I thought it would still be fun to just see all of the colors in action and see another fun way that this stencil can be used. Yes, Jeff, we do want to see her on Craft Hour. So hint, hint, Dee. Hint, hint. Okay, so we have the second layer done here. So I'm gonna pull all of the tape off. Oh, I love how she gives us a soon. She's teasing us. Okay, oh, and then there we go. So there is the second layer. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean my stencil off here for the second time. And we've got one more section to do on this card. Okay, make sure I got all of that off because I got a little bit on the middle there the last time. Okay, so we just did that way. And so now I think I have to flip it this way. Yes, okay. Sometimes it takes a minute to remember which way you have to flip it. to get the next part that you want to do. Okay, so let's go ahead and get these lined up. So after the first go around, I typically line up, like I mentioned, I think previously, I line up with the ink blending rather than the grid points. So give me just a minute while I do that. There we go. Okay. Yeah, this would definitely be really pretty with glitter paste or embossing glitter as well. I agree. This one I'm just gonna go full on rainbow. Patricia is asking why not clean with water? You can, but it will leave a little bit of ink stain on your stencil, and that's why I use a little bit of rubbing alcohol. Okay, so we are on to the ballet slipper and the lightest, the lightest set of all of these. Let me get one more piece of Post-it tape here. Okay, so I'm using ballet slipper, and as I mentioned, ballet slipper has its own brush. So this is a life-changing brush, just because it's such a light shade of pink that I feel like when I use one of my brushes that I use for all pinks, they transfer over into the ballet slipper. So ballet slipper gets its own. I think I need to get the pastel set of these, and then that would help my keep from getting that color transfer into my ink blending. Oh yeah, Heather makes a good point too, that the rubbing alcohol actually dries really, really quickly. So when you are needing to clean multiple times on one project, you don't run the risk of bleeding any of your ink or getting any water droplets on your project. Okay, ballet slipper is complete. I do the same thing for coral reef. It also has its own tool just to keep it nice and light and clean. And you'll notice these ones I'm going a little bit lighter handed on because I want that second layer. Oh, I got a little heavy there, but that's okay. I want that second layer to be nice and light. Okay, we'll stop there since I got a little heavy handed. Oh, well, thanks for joining us while you could, Lana, and have a great rest of your day. And of course, just catch the replay when it's all said and done. All right. Okay, I'm gonna wipe off this orange one, and I am moving on to peach fuzz. Keep this one a little nice and light too. Okay, I think peach fuzz is probably in the end gonna have to have its own brush too, because I feel like I see a lot of transfer over in that one as well. Okay. Flip this. Okay, well, we are close to being finished with ink blending, and the final reveal. Thanks for hanging in there with me this long. I know that this has been kind of a longer ink blending process, but I hope that you enjoy the final look when we're done here, and then you'll try it on your own with your own stencils, whether you have mirrored triangles or you have a different stencil with a pattern like this that would work. I'd be excited to see what you guys create. All right, so we're going in with a little bit of fresh pear. Okay. And then finally, we are going to use Ocean Breeze, and my lighter blues also have their own ink blending brush. Oh, I'm glad you are excited about these stencils, and it'll be fun to see what you create once they arrive, Aisha. Yes, Rebecca, we have 12 color families, and then there are 4 shades of color in each color family, giving us 48 shades of premium dye ink, and they're beautiful and they're amazing to work with. They ink blend well, they stamp well. We really love them. And then we also have a hybrid detail black ink that is crisp and very intense black, and it works perfectly for both watercolor and alcohol markers. Yes, Laura Fedora has also, I just called her Laura Fedora. Laura Basson also has a great card sample using this lovely stencil. Okay, are we all ready for the big reveal? Okay, so let's check it out. Ta-da! And they are so fun. They almost in a way look a little bit like envelopes, kind of. I just think that the added dimension by doing the 3 flipping it over and shading it the 3 different rays is really, really fun. Okay, so we've got this background complete. Okay, so I'm gonna put these brushes out of my way, and then I am going to go ahead, I'm gonna die cut this panel with our Ornate banner die. Thank you guys. I'm glad you like glad you like the reveal as much as I do. I think that this is such an exciting stencil to work with, and it's just one stencil, and there's so many possibilities that this one stencil has. It's just great. Yes, origami paper kind of too, I agree. Okay, so I've got that taped down, and pardon the noise while I run this through my machine. I agree. This would be a very cool rug if you had a rainbow room somewhere in your house. This would be a very cool look. Okay, so don't fret about the fact that there is this white line on the side. I'm going to cover that, but truthfully, looking at it, it doesn't actually even bother me that much that it's there, but I am going to end up covering it in just a minute. Annette, just do it. You can always do it again. Okay, so let's put the banners away. And then, so let's get out some of the things I need here. So I had also, what you're gonna see here is I cut out this, the Ornate banner from some glittery light blue cardstock that I'm going to use as a frame around the edge. So let's go ahead and get this adhered down to a card base. And I'm just going to use some tape runner to adhere it directly onto the card base, because I'll get the dimension added from the frame that I add to it. Okay, so let's place that on here. Okay. Yeah, Deborah, I mean, I don't clean up everything, but I do have to clean up as much as I can, or I think I start to get actually a little frazzled because might be covering up something that I'm needing to use next. So I do try to keep it a little clean. I'm not perfect, but I do kind of clean up a little bit as I go. That's true. I agree. You could definitely leave this as is without adding the border. And I wasn't super sure what I thought would think of it once it was die cut, but it doesn't bother me at all if I weren't doing this part. But I love to add dimension to my cards this way by adding these little borders. And we have lots of great dies that you can, or lots of our essentials collection, we have these options with our dies to create these great borders, and they just add a nice little touch of dimension to the card. So I just love how that looks. Oh, thank you, Yaz. I appreciate it so much. Yes, thank you. I'm glad you guys are loving these bright colors. Okay, so we're basically to the point where it's time to start doing a sentiment. I did pre-cut the U because I knew I was going to use it somewhere. I haven't fully figured out the placement yet. And that is our Sentiment Suite U die. It is a 2-piece die. You get the scripted word and then you get the shadow as separate pieces so that you can use the scripted word alone or with the shadow if you'd like. I don't know that you can also use the shadow piece if you wanted to stamp this, the stamp U from our Simply Sentiments stamp set, which I'm going to use the other part of my sentiment from. So a few different options for using this die set. Thank you, Annette. I appreciate that. Okay, so I haven't fully decided on what sentiment I'm going to use. I think I'm going to use this I love you most of all. But I'm having a hard time deciding. I think I'm going to actually heat emboss in white onto black cardstock, I think. I'm not completely sure. Let me think about that. And then I'm wondering if black would be a little bit too dark. Nah, we're just going to go with it. All right, I just got to find a piece of black paper. Give me just a second here in my little box of scrap cardstock. I forgot to pull some out when I was prepping. Oh, there we go. Perfect. And once again, just in case, because I kind of glossed over this, this is the Simply Sentiments U stamp set that I'm using today. I love you most of all. I think the I love you most of all is fitting because, we're kind of starting to work on Valentine's Day cards and such. So I think that it's kind of perfect. Okay, let me get my little mini Misty out here. Let's get this arranged in here a little better. Wait. There it is. Sorry. Okay. I am going to use this one. Okay. Nope, I'm not going to stamp it in black, but I think I'm going to stamp it in white on black. Okay, or not stamp it, heat emboss. Okay. So let's get that there. And we're going to prep it with a powder tool so that the embossing powder only sticks to the ink part. And then we're going to ink it up. I think I might have missed some comments there, so sorry about that. Yes, I liked the navy that Jeff used last Saturday too. Navy not really going with my current card colors, so I'm gonna skip that, but I'm just gonna go with black this time. I think it will look lovely. It'll be a nice modern pop of dark tones on there. Good. And I'm just going to use a little bit of white embossing powder. I might have tapped it a little bit too much on that. There we go. Okay. Let's get this embossing powder cleaned up first so I don't dump it all over my desk, because I would do that. All right. And this might get a little loud. Okay, if you guys are looking for the blending brushes that I use, they are Tailored Expressions, or the black ones that I used, like this one. Those are Picket Fence's life-changing brushes. We don't carry them in our shop, so tailoredexpressions.com is for the ones that are colorful, and then those life-changing ones you can find pretty much anywhere. Amazon, Simon Says Stamp, I think scrapbook.com. Lots of different places. Ellen Hudson, there's, I think, quite a few different places. Okay, so let's trim this down into as thin of a strip as possible. Alrighty. Okay, so let's take a look and figure out how I want to put this on here. I feel like I kind of want to tuck it. Nah. This is the part I always fuss with the most, I think, is where I'm going to place my sentiment. Annette, I have a basket to my right that is off screen that you can't see, that I keep everything in. So that is how I add everything. That's how I kind of have everything all around me. And then there's also stuff placed over here to the right, and my die cut machine's on the left. So I just kind of have it arranged where it works. It just works out. I think I'm going to add a little bit of foam adhesive to the back of you, so it will pop up off of the background. And if somebody is asking, I believe Tailored Expressions also came out with a more pastel version or set of her brushes recently. So that's also something that you can look into. Okay. And I don't put it over everything. I just kind of put little pieces tucked in behind where I think from like mostly visibly people wouldn't be able to see it. And if it pokes out a little bit, it's okay. Okay, so I think, yeah, that's better. That is so thin. Let me see if I can do this. This might be asking a lot. Whew, I think I maybe did it. Trimmed like the thinnest little piece of foam tape here. Thanks, Jeff. Popping it. I may not be stripping it, but I'm definitely popping it over here. All right, perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and get this guy placed so that it's a little bit easier for me to make a decision on where the rest of the sentiment is going to go. I always feel like those little strips are probably the hardest for me to place. I'm super indecisive. about it. Dimension is life. Yep, absolutely. School of Laura Basson. Okay, so this glitter paper is not a non-shedding glitter paper, so I kind of have glitter everywhere, but that's okay. I don't mind glitter. Okay, so let's place that guy about right there. And then I think, okay, I'm gonna cut a little banner edge to this. And so I think Heather has shown you guys how to do this, but if you just cut a little snip down the center, then you can just cut from edge to edge to make a perfect little banner edge. Absolutely, Jeff. Okay. And then I think I'm going to just need to pop a little bit of foam under the most of all part here to help keep it on. And then we can just use a little bit of glue. Absolutely, Lori. Okay, so just add a couple dollops of liquid glue here. I think I made a mistake and did not trim that. Okay. I can probably just tuck it. Yep, perfect. Uh-oh, I think I have the foam tape too. Yep. Okay, gotta pull some of this foam tape off. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Okay. All right, so I've got just one final step left here to do. Oh, Paulina, I get glitter. I pretty much constantly have glitter everywhere. That's okay, I don't mind. Okay. I think I need to hold that down a little bit longer for it to dry a little bit. Okay. Oh, thank you, Lori. I appreciate that. Okay. So, one final step. We are going to add some crystals. Yay. I love crystals. Okay, so I'm going to pull out the pink and the red. So I think you see where I'm going here. I'm going to pull them out in rainbow order. Okay. And I think I'm actually just going to add a little. Oh, thanks for joining me. So totally okay. Yeah, we are nearing the end of the video, but we always save them to our page. So it will, sometimes it takes a few minutes, but it will show up on our page shortly after I finish here. Okay, so we're just going to kind of line the side of this in rainbow colored crystals to give it another little extra rainbow kick. That is hilarious. LND Clark. That makes me laugh. Oh, I forgot the green. Glad I saw that. Okay, so you know what? I'm not loving it right there, but I think I will love it if I just start it right at the point. Yeah. I can already tell I like this way better. Maybe if it would let go of my fingers here. Oh, shoot. And then I could do it again on the other side as well. And that will be real fun. Okay. Okay, let's move these a little bit out of my way so I don't just knock them over. Okay, so we're gonna go in here and I'm gonna just glue these down with a little bit of liquid glue. And the great thing about the liquid glue is it does give you a little bit of time to position them, so to make sure that you get those crystals tucked in right where you want them. And they're just such a fun little added detail. I especially love them on when I make cards that have these fun banner shapes like this to tuck into those banner points as well. Oops, that one needs to go in a little further. Perfect. Okay. And we're gonna go ahead and do that on the next side. Oops, except for I should start with blue. You know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and grab out all the color. Oops, that's too big. I'm glad you guys enjoyed this card. I know that it was kind of a lot of the same thing, but I'm glad that you enjoyed how it turned out. And I hopefully will see some of you guys making these fun, multicolored, like multi-layered rainbow cards in the future. Okay, we're almost done here. Put the next final row of rainbow crystals and just give it that nice last finishing rainbow touch. Ooh, I might have gotten a little bit too much glue there, but that's okay because it will dry clear. Oops, see? That's what I run the risk of doing. Okay. Final one. All right, let me make sure, just do a little futzing here to make sure they look nice and even with the other grouping. Oops, don't do that too much. Okay, and there we have it. I think that's a fun detail at the bottom as well. I'm excited about how that turned out. Okay, friends, I am going to get these crystals put away so that I don't get them all over my desk. And I don't think the rainbow, I don't think rainbows are going to go anywhere anytime soon. I think it's safe to say that rainbow colors are going to be around. Yes, they are, Jeff. I love rows of crystals and bling. Okay, so those I can't spill now. And that is my card. Okay, so I am going to flip the camera back around real quick. Give me just a second while I do that. Okay. Okay, here we are. And oh, wow. Heather was really quick, and it looks like today's winner has been picked, Nicole Brown. Congratulations. Be sure to email me. So it's leah@pinkfreshstudio.com, and just give me 2 to 3 days to reply. I did prep, if you're talking about the blue frame, I did prep that beforehand, and you just die cut it with the frame that I cut the ink blended panel from. There's an inner die as well, so you can actually make the little frame. So I hope that you guys, have a wonderful rest of your day. Congratulations again to Nicole, and thank you for joining me. Heather will be live on Facebook on Thursday again, so we'll send out an email, of course. and we'll put it in our Instagram stories as well. So other than that, thank you everyone for joining us today. And I hope that you guys have a